things we don't know. I mean, you don't know what they've game planned, what they've done. They could throw the ball a lot. They could have a good system to keep the ball. It's all about keeping the ball dry, keeping your hands dry, what you're able to do. You practice.
They've got towels,
Yeah.
as you noted, is maybe not the most effective way to stay dry.
Yeah, I mean.
I thought I'd give you a chance to rant about the towels.
Rant about the towels. There's a lot of players probably on both sides. I saw it for Butler County, but, they got towels attached to their belt loop.
Yep.
And you see that in a lot of games in August. Then you don't play in July, but July practices in early September when it's 90 degrees and you're playing a game and you need to keep your hands dry. But that towel's going to be just as wet as all the elements. So it may help a little bit. It may help with a grip or something. I don't know. But, I just say that Butler County center and warming up, he's got a towel in it, on his back of his belt loop, and I just kind of wonder.
Almost interferes with the snaps.
Yeah, with that heavy of a towel, is he going to knock it into knock the football into it? I don't know, but maybe you have a good enough snap for it. But that, as a coach, as a player, that would make me very nervous with the position of his towel. And I'm analyzing a lot of different things, and I see things a different way than pretty much probably everybody. But I don't know. We'll see what happens this game.
For all they can do offensively, the big struggle for Butler, defense. They gave up 357 rushing yards on 11 yards per attempt in that loss to Hart County last week. Gave up 412 in a loss to Grayson, over 300 to Webster, and gave up 300 passing yards to Logan County in their opening game of the year. So a chance for Franklin Simpson, as they did last year against Butler County, to break things open offensively. Though worth noting, if you look at the entire tenure of Max Chaney as coach, only one time has Franklin Simpson won a game with less than 200 yards on the ground, and it was that game against Butler County last year because the offense didn't have to do anything after halftime. We're about a minute and a half away from kickoff. When we come back, we get this game started. Franklin Simpson, Butler County. Can the Cats get their first district win of the season? We find out after this on 92.3 WFKN.
Really cool place.
Back with you here at Franklin Simpson High School as the Wildcats set to start with the ball. The kick is muffed initially. Now making something out of nothing on the far side is Zay Hampton. He was trapped inside his own 10. He gets outside past the 30, across the 35 to the 37 is where they're going to mark him out. Actually, we'll see if they give him that spot because he was hit up closer to the 40. And so I thought, well, if they're going to mark him out at the 37, that hit had to be a little late. They don't call that. They keep him at the 37. And Tyler Arterburn, Franklin Simpson averted disaster as now there may have been some sort of disaster. There is. We've got a 7-man crew, which you've talked about before, means typically more flags. Unsurprising there that there was a flag of some sort because it took a good 2 or 3 seconds to secure that football inside the 10-yard line. And for all the effort from Zay to run that thing out and make a play, they are walking this not just inside the 10, they have walked it just inside the 5-yard line. So for Franklin Simpson, about a 35-yard field position flip, and they'll start in this pouring rain 10 seconds into the ball game inside their own 5-yard line. Brady Delk, as you would expect, under center to start this drive, takes the snap. Some confusion on the first play. He's going to have to keep it himself, and he's dropped at the 4.
Yeah, not a good start for Franklin Simpson with the penalty. Pinned back and 96 yards to go to the end zone. You're not in a good position, and you don't like that handoff or that loss on the first down either. But now they got time to take a breath and get going.
Delk had a great game on the ground, albeit most of those designed or scrambles out of the passing game against Russellville, with a career high on the ground with 74 yards. This time, Franklin gets what they want offensively. Still only pick up a few as it's driven up to about the 7-yard line, maybe getting the 8 was Aiden Jones. They actually mark it just ahead of the 5. He had surged up, so his knee might have been down early. And so with the ball just across the 5, if you're friendly, you could call it the 6. It's wedged in between there. Regardless of where it's at, the Wildcats need to get to the 14, actually really closer to the 15. It's 3rd and long. Now going to hand it off again. And initially, everybody thought Lane Alford was down back near the 10-yard line. He stays up, crosses the 15, past the 20. He gets more than enough for the first down on a play that everybody on both sides had given up on. They thought Lane was down. He pops up, keeps going. He's out to the 25 to keep the drive alive.
Yeah, Lane's a back that, man, he's always got that second effort. Now, I talked in the pregame about how that could be dangerous if you're going to try to get too many yards in this rain if the football's not dry, but he was double skinning that football and had a good grip on it anyway.
They pitch it out this time. Anderson, one cut, gets a pass to man at the 25, tripped up 30, keeps his footing, 35 and out of bounds near the 40. Great run and a good job to keep his footing. Nearly tripped himself up, and he's patting the helmet afterwards. Knew he probably should have had a bit more, but it was such a hard cut initially. Still picked up 15, and it's 1st and 10 for Franklin Simpson. Back-to-back big plays.
Now, we talk about this turf. You don't have to worry about things like the mud, but, it is still wet. It is still saturated, just not like you would think of normal grass. So you got to be concerned with some of those slips and may need to get that foot directly in the ground on a cut.
Butler tries to bring pressure. Cats go right up the middle. Alford dives forward, got 2. As they timed that up really well, brought guys, had a linebacker blitzing in right at the snap. I thought he might jump offside, but he timed it perfectly.
Yeah, but Lane still gets 2 yards and, had a guy blitzing right in his gap that he was running the football and was able to run hard and get those big boy yards. So a good effort.
As you look down, they're not a team with a lot of size up front for Butler County. As we mentioned earlier, just gave up 357 on the ground against Hart County last week. 3 different games out of their 5, they've given up at least 300 on the ground. Here on 2nd and 8, Anderson goes into motion, now stands on the left side. Butler jumps. They're going to say Franklin went first.
Here's the center. The center for Franklin Simpson, Cheney. He's moved the football just a little bit.
Coach Cheney would want us to say his name.
Yeah, I was going to hesitate. People tell me I can be more colorful as a color commentator, but I don't want to throw guys under the bus.
I thought your rant about towels in the pregame was very colorful.
That was colorful enough. I'm at my limit.
I'll let you start describing the jerseys before the game. How about that? 2nd and 13 after the penalty. Delk takes the snap, hands it off up the middle. Jones cuts through, gets across the 40, getting a push from behind past the 45 up to the 47-yard line. It was like that run earlier for Lane where the play kind of seemed dead, but that time got a little push from his lineman and just kept churning to make it 3rd and short.
Yeah, it was a good team effort run right there where he was trying to get yards and his linemen were behind him pushing guys off and got him some extra yards. I like what I'm seeing on this drive. You got about 4 or 5 runs up the middle and Colin Scamper on the outside, working inside out and drawing those linebackers in for some sweet plays, which we'll probably see here.
3rd and 3. They're going to keep it with Delk up the middle. Gonna need a push. They've got him stacked up. A flag comes in late. He kept churning forward. Again, the Cats make the push as it's marked. He needed to get to midfield. He's at the Butler County 47. Got 6 when he needed 3. But it's a flag against the Cats, and that's going to get walked back.
It looked like he was calling offsides on the offense. I mean,
I'm wondering.
He must have messed that up.
It's been close on the timing. If maybe he meant that Brady moved early, but the flag came in so late.
Yeah,
it's
a 10-yard
well
penalty,
into the
so
play.
it's got to be a hold. Or it's 15 yards, so maybe like a chop block or something.
No, it's they've got it 10. I believe the hold is the official call.
Okay.
They walk it back to the 38-yard line of Franklin Simpson, so now they need 12 for the first down. The 6-yard run taken off the board. Jones behind Delk, under center. He gives it to Anderson, has a hole on the right, explodes, but gets wrapped up by a defender that he tried to run through in Trevor DeWeese, who was there. He's knocked down at the 44-yard line, got 6. Cats need 6 on 4th down, and for now, it's really tough to judge because a lot of the punting unit is the same as the offense, but it looks like they're going to stay on the field here.
Yeah, you're going to see more 4-down territory in this game.
4th and 6 for Franklin Simpson at their own 44. They've already chewed up 4.5 minutes. It's a double handoff. Anderson got it first, then gave it to Alford. Goes down, was still fighting. Ball came out late. He's either down or it's a fumble recovered by Butler County. Regardless of the call, turnover on downs, and Butler is going to start with great field position at the Franklin Simpson 44-yard line. Officials discussing what the official ruling is going to be. It only matters for the stats, but for our case here, Butler makes a stand defensively, something that has been hard for them to come by this season. And they're going to be rewarded with great field position for their first drive. 7:15 left in this opening quarter. Cats chew up almost 5 minutes, but can't get past midfield because of penalties as Butler gets it at the FS 43.
Yeah, no, that was a good play design. I mean, you're trying to catch them off guard, but they didn't.
And here's something rare for Butler. The quarterback, Phelps, is going to be under center. I formation, 2 wide receivers on the right side. They actually hand it off to the fullback, who turns across the 40 up to the 39-yard line. 4-yard gain on the opening play for Butler.
So, yeah, I mean, they haven't been under center all year, as I was mentioning in the pregame. So you got to worry about the snaps. If you get the snap, it can be very difficult if you've not done it all year or much in your career to go under center when you're so used to shotgun snaps.
They go back to that again. This time the receivers on the left side on 2nd and 6. They're going to give it to the running back. Phelps explodes across the 35-yard line. Line of gain is 33. They're going to give him that. And actually now they walk it back, and a flag comes out late.
Is he calling delay of game? Because I don't know what he's calling.
He threw the flag down where the ball was spotted at the 34-yard line, and it's against Franklin Simpson.
They're calling a targeting or helmet to helmet. It's a very similar signal, and that's the call on the field.
Yep. It's a 5-yard carry before the penalty for Lonnie Phelps. You're going to hear Phelps a lot. The quarterback is Garrett Phelps. Their leading running back, I can't say leading rusher because Garrett Phelps is the leading rusher. Their lead running back is Lonnie Phelps, number 24. And with the penalty, they move to the Franklin Simpson 19-yard line. 6:25 left in tick in opening quarter. We're scoreless as Lonnie Phelps gets it right side. He's wrapped up and dropped. Picked up 3 on the play to the 16. 2nd and 7 on the way as the Cats reeling early.
Yeah, and Butler County, I mean, they've not won a game this year, and I mean, they're looking like a better team going under center. I don't know why they haven't done this earlier in their season. They're not going to beat people with their speed because they don't have any. They're going to be able to beat people with power, and they're moving the football pretty easily against Franklin Simpson right
in that
here.
I formation again, 1 wide receiver each way. They give it to Phelps running right. Has a hole, tries to bounce out, but he can, and now a flag comes in late. I think we're going to get a hold on Butler. Phelps had gotten only up to the 15-yard line for a gain of 1. We've had a lot of penalties both ways early on as it is a hold against Butler.
And sometimes you hold because you can't get there, or it looks like a hold because the hands slip off. That's a lot of penalties to start this game. And like I said, with a 7-man crew, you're going to have more penalties.
Yes.
But they got to clean this up. The officiating's got to be cleaned up. Plays got to be cleaned up. And they got to let the guys play. But, I mean, if it's a blatant mistake, you got to call it.
If you tuned into the Thursday night football game yesterday, probably a very similar setting with all the penalties. Is here with the ball backed up at the 27. Butler goes in the gun. The snap is a wild one, and Phelps just has to dive on it back near the 40. It's exactly what you talked about pregame, Tyler, with concerns that they went to the shotgun with those snaps. There they lose 12 with a snap that was on the turf the whole way.
Yeah, and with second and long, which I think it was about second and 12.
It was about
15,
18 there, yeah.
something like that. I know it's double sticks, as they say. But, you go in shotgun because you got a long way to go. And, yeah, if the center doesn't have a good grip on the football, then you're not going to, have a good opportunity.
It is 3rd and 30. The ball is just inside the 40. They need to get inside the Franklin Simpson 10. Again in the shotgun, trips right, one wide receiver left. This time the snap is clean. Phelps flushed out to his right, back at midfield. 2 defenders around him. Franklin wraps him up and drops him.
Good job.
And when I say Franklin, I don't just mean Franklin Simpson. I mean Jamarius Franklin back there making the play. Boy, what a year he has had on defense.
Yeah, he's been playing really well at that left defensive end, and he was able to get off his block as Phelps was rolling out right and be there for the sack. And Jackson Crafton, good to see him back this week. He was making an impact as a defensive tackle and getting in there. Now, very dangerously, Butler County is going to try to punt. I look for Franklin Simpson to bring pressure and hope for a bad snap.
4th and 41, almost 42. You really don't have too much of a choice here. It's a good snap. Cats bring people and they block it. A flag comes in as the kick is blocked and it goes out of bounds at the Butler County 40. There's a flag on the near sideline, though, as the punt was blocked.
It's against the offense, and the official down there is his name's Ricky. He's been officiating for 49 years, and he says that one's against Butler County.
The Wildcats will take over at the Butler County 40 after the blocked punt that spins out of bounds. The defender was able to shove his blocker almost back into the punter, who, if he had punted where he caught the snap, would have got it off, but had to step up into it and then had it blocked.
I'd say both teams, you're in 4-down territory the rest of this game. You're not even going to try to punt
even on 4th and 41.
No. I'd at least try to get an interception or something, and long run. No, I would have gone for it.
Cats take over. It's a play-action Delk. It's a design keeper. He is in all sorts of trouble in the backfield, trying to get away but can't. And they're going to give him forward progress generously at the 46. Still a loss of 6 on first down.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the fullback was not even, I believe it was Lane trying to carrying out a fake right there. It wasn't even a concern. And it looks like Butler County's focus this week is Brady Delk.
After as good as he was in the second half for Franklin against Russellville, you can't blame him. As we tick down inside 3.5 minutes left in this opening quarter, both teams scoreless. Franklin Simpson with a 2nd and 16 at the Butler 46-yard line. Ball on the right side of the field. Delk under center. This time he's going to hand it off to Jones, running right past the 40. Down to the 35, picked up and dropped almost on his head. Quickly pops up, though, shakes it off. It's a double-digit gain down to the 33-yard line, 13 yards. And a big play to set up 3rd and short. As we've talked about, if you're Franklin Simpson, no matter what, they've got to avoid those 3rd and longs.
Yeah, they do, and they did that. And, nobody wanted to tackle Aiden. I think you just keep running with your fullbacks. Rotate those guys in and out. Maybe get Case and him shoot a couple runs. But, I like this big man football that we're playing on these drives.
Jones is the fullback here. Alford is flanked out left. It's the keeper for Delk. Has to try to go around the right side. It's going to be close on the spot. The first down marker is just inside the 30. They've got him just inside the 30. As the official raises his hand, they motion that it is 4th down.
And
because they've actually got it now that they make the official spot initially look closer to the 30. That ball, at least the back of it, is on the hash at the 31, and on 4th and short, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is, and the officials are trading out footballs right here. Looks like Blake McPherson, with his injuries, playing ball boy, trying to get a fresh ball every first down. I think is what the officials are going to allow. But
Delk keeps it going left. Butler County tried to stack up the middle of the line. I believe they're going to give forward progress, and Franklin Simpson is going to move the chains. They do. The marker was just short of the 30-yard line, and Brady got the 30.
My apologies. I thought he got the first down. I didn't know it was 4th and short. But anyway, it looked like he fumbled. That's hard for us to see up here with the glare on the glass and all the rain coming down. But, nonetheless, got the first down and keep the chains moving.
1st and 10 at the 30. Delk back under center. 140 left, opening quarter. We're still scoreless here at Franklin Simpson High School. Takes the snap, hands it off to Jones. Cuts to his left, picks up a couple. Might have been able to turn up to the 27, but doing a good job of Aiden just bouncing off of guys, keeping plays alive. There are so many similarities, and it gets difficult for us. Thankfully, Aiden with that left sleeve on makes it a bit easier to differentiate him, but him and Lane very similar for the way they run at fullback.
Hard-nosed running back. I think Lane's a little bit taller than Aiden, but nonetheless, both very hard-nosed, looking to run over guys. They don't really care to run around you. They want to run through you.
Lane at fullback this time. They pitch it out right to Anderson. Tries to cut left. Gets through a hole at the 25. Bounces off a tackler at the 20, but he lost the football. Did he dive back on it? He did. Inside the 20, he had enough for the first down. Ball popped out at the last second, but was able to jump on it. Picks up 10, and fortunately, Franklin Simpson keeps possession at the 17.
Yeah, and he's very fortunate that ball bounced his way, but got the first down and very patient with his run. But that's what I was talking about in the pregame. I mean, when you get 5-6 yards, you can't just try to score every play. You got to be okay with that. You got to make sure you hold on to that football.
35 seconds left in the quarter. Delk takes the snap, hands to Alford. Left side, gets away from the first arm tackle, trying to drag a man with him, but he's dragged to the ground. Might have been able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Good job that time by Butler County to have multiple people in the backfield. Christian White ultimately the one to wrap him up. And actually lost a yard there back to the 18 as I believe Franklin Simpson on that note will let this clock run out for the first quarter. Both teams have had opportunities. Franklin Simpson driving now down to the Butler County 18-yard line. When we come back, the Cats will look to strike first in what's been a scoreless game so far from Franklin Simpson. Zeros both ways in this district matchup. You're listening to Franklin Simpson football on 92.3 WFK.
The special is that we look for the story when it comes to our customers.
Just listening to them, talking to them, figuring out a little bit about their background. A larger bank is not going to ask you those questions to figure out the end goal for you.
We stuck with Franklin Bank and Trust for over 10 years, easily because of the service.
I like to think of us more than just checking accounts and loans and things, but dreams and goals and aspirations is what we're trying to help people reach.
Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown banking at its best.
What's the matter, Big Red? You're not your usual energetic self.
Are you getting a good night's sleep?
I know just the thing to help. Tossing and turning, a bad night's sleep can take you out of your game. It could be your pillow or mattress. Let Trent Bedding's Sleep Guides help you find the right sleep essentials for a good night's rest so you are at your best.
Remember, if I won't have it in my house, I won't deliver it to yours.
Franklin Simpson offense now moving right to left as we get the second quarter underway, 2nd and 11. Cats at the Butler County 18-yard line. They go to Alford to open the quarter, breaks the tackle, slips past another. One more man trying to chase him down. He's not going to get him. Franklin Simpson strikes first. 18-yard touchdown for Alford to start the quarter.
And I like what we saw right there. They had enough time at the end of that first quarter to try to run another play, but guys were missing blocks left and right. Kind of used that.
Start of the quarter. Took 6 seconds for the Wildcats to strike. And Brody, even in this weather, I was watching him warm up before the game. He had that ball set at the 25, so it'd be a 35-yard field goal. And he was knocking it in by 10 yards maybe. I mean, he is going to be a really, and we know this because of how he is. When he does something, he's going to do it well and practice and get better and better. But, man, he is going to become a weapon for a team that if you look back over the last decade, we have been very fortunate for the kickers that we've had at Franklin Simpson.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got whenever you can get that consistent, you know you're going to get 1 point, and you don't have to gamble and go for two. And going for two is probably about a 50% chance maybe. So the score may even out. I don't know, maybe less. I don't know the percentages of it, but may even out. I don't know, maybe less. I don't know the percentages of it, but to know your guaranteed points that are so valuable in a football game from
They tried twice. One time the fumble got past the quarterback, rolled it past him for a 12-yard loss. The other time, Franklin Simpson gets an 11-yard sack, so a net minus 23, both on what would technically be sacks. the 2 times that Butler County tried to go in the shotgun and throw the ball. Had some success running out of that I formation to start the game, but it looks like here, Tyler Arterburn, they're going to go back to the gun with Lonnie Phelps to the right side of the quarterback, Garrett Phelps. 2 wide receivers on the right side with a tight end each way.
All right. They're going to roll the dice in the shotgun formation.
Phelps claps, takes the snap. He's running to his right. It's a designed run. Cats have the edge. He's wrapped up and he's dropped. Franklin Simpson was all over it. And again, it's Jamarius Franklin. Boy, he's having a game so far.
Yeah, he's got some quickness and some speed. He's pretty strong, too, so he can set that edge. What you got to do as a defensive end is you got to set the edge. You can't let anybody reach you, and these tackles are going to try to reach you, but you got to stay outside. If you can stay outside and if you make that guy cut up, then linebackers are right there. But if he keeps going outside, you're right there to make a tackle. Jamarius Franklin played that really good on that play.
2 wide receivers bunched up on each side. The 2 Phelps in the backfield. Garrett wipes his hands, gets the snap. Having to run to his right, a flag comes in. It's going to be a hold. Runs across the 40, 45, gets out of bounds at midfield, but I believe that one's going to come back.
Yeah, and that was a really rough hold, wide open, and you're in the middle of everybody, and you're the only guy there, and that's a blatant hold. Should have been called. It was called, and Butler County's going in the wrong direction. I just don't understand what they want to do in this shotgun formation with all this rain. But even before the rain, I mean, you run a shotgun formation whenever and spread everybody out when you got a lot of speed.
Yep.
To be honest with you, Butler County doesn't have a lot of speed. They would be much, and we have seen they are much better off under center running that I formation.
They're going to stay in the shotgun here on 2nd and 21 as the ball is marched back to Butler County's 27-yard line. 2 wide receivers bunched on the right, 2 spread out on the left side. Garrett Phelps takes the snap. He's running left, looking to throw. Now looks like he might try to run it. Cats have pressure again. He's wrapped up, slowing down. Another sack for Franklin Simpson. And would you believe who's back there to do it? Lane Alford making big plays on both sides of the ball. He has had such a year defensively. Leads this team in tackles for loss. He's getting close to 10 on the season. Just the motor, how we've described him of this team. Rain, shine, snow, whatever it is, he's going to be out there and he's going to give you 110%.
Absolutely. He plays hard both sides of the ball. And, the best thing for Franklin Simpson tonight with this rain is that a guy like Lane Alford is not going to get fatigued as much.
So it's 3rd and a mile again. This time, actually, I guess technically compared to the last one, you call it 3/4 of a mile. 3rd and 25. Quick pass out the far side. It is deflected, and it falls incomplete. Franklin Simpson all over that one. Jackson Gass dropping back to get a hand on that ball. And here comes into question what you talked about last time, Tyler. Do you try to punt it again? It's 4th and 25. You're at your own 23-yard line. Do you just pick up whatever you can and let Franklin Simpson have it? Looks like the choice for Butler County here, despite the elements, despite the block last time, is to try and punt it. And if I'm Franklin Simpson, I'm bringing the house.
Yeah, your best case scenario, you're not going to get a 30, 40-yard punt. You may get a 20-yard punt in this weather. Your best case scenario is it hits one of Franklin Simpson guys, and that's it.
Cats almost blocked this one. It's a low one down the far side, goes out of bounds well into Butler County territory, and they walk it down to the 35-yard line. So technically there, they do flip it by 12 yards with the punt out of bounds. And Franklin Simpson will have great field position once again at the Butler County 35.
I mean, the punt, it's a very tough play, and a lot of coaches hold their breath even in dry weather for a punt play. And I know you practice it over and over and over, but that's a play where things can go wrong more than any other play. Punt block or botch snap or something like that. And do it in this rain, it just doesn't make sense to me.
On 1st down, Jones, the fullback. Alford is peeled off to the left. They give it to Aiden up the middle. Cuts across the 30. Inside the 25, runs over a man, cuts to the 20. 15 being dragged down near the 10. Boy, he has had a great game running that ball, not just up the middle. He's shooting up that first gap, and he's showing some quickness with the first cut to get downfield. They mark him down at the 11 for a gain of 24.
Yeah, and Butler County's making some business decisions not to tackle Aiden Jones, and so business is good for the Wildcats this evening, and running that football, running hard, and those big fullbacks.
Ticking towards 10 minutes left before halftime. Franklin Simpson down at the 11-yard line. They've got that three-back set, and as the snap comes, a flag, and the Wildcats moved early. We'll walk it back 5 yards. They went back to Aiden. I know he was ready for that one.
He was, and, penalties are detrimental, but it's 5 yards, and it's on first down, so that's your good news. And the way that the Franklin Simpson's churning out yards, you can't beat yourself up too much. You got to focus on this play. Get those yards back. Work on getting those yards back, and that's very doable. It's not a killer penalty. It's very doable.
They've run 2 plays in this half offensively, the 18-yard run for Lane and the 24-yard run for Jones. 1st and 15 here. They give it to Aiden. Trips past a man, staying alive back inside the 10. Did a really good job. Once again, that Butler County is getting guys into the backfield or near the line of scrimmage for that first contact. But those Franklin backs are just staying alive, and they're going to mark that all the way down at the 7-yard line. And that's a 9-yard gain for Aiden.
And that's what I'm talking about. That penalty is not as detrimental in this game on first down as it would be. Still don't want any penalties, but Wildcats are still in good business, and looks like a injury timeout. Team timeout. I think number 8 is, there's that 6. I can't really tell up here. I think they're taking him off for health protocol. Looks like he's bobbling around, not coherent after taking a big hit. So the officials trying to keep the player safe.
If it's I believe number 6 still out there, as we've talked about, right. Robbins, their leading tackler on the year, top 5 in the state. As Jones gets it, we're back underway, gets inside the 5-yard line, but another flag comes in, and immediately the signal for holding.
Yeah, and that holding penalty, that is detrimental, but it is still just second down. You got a chance to get those yards back, but it's still a tough one.
Ball was at the 6-yard line. They march it back to the 18. Line of gain, you can still get a first down. It's right around the 1-yard line. So if it's at the 18, you need 17 to move the chains, but you'd like to just punch it in. Though now in a 2nd and long situation, Alford will be the fullback. Anderson flanked out on the left side. Cats, again, a busted play entirely as Delk takes the snap. Nobody else really was ready to go. He had put the foot down like he wanted somebody to go into motion, instead got the snap, just kept it, tried to make what he could out of it, and getting what he could was just back to the line of scrimmage.
And I think maybe what it caused that there are some heavy winds right now. Yes. I see some umbrellas hanging on for dear life, and our press box feels like it's moving and rocking back and forth, and so sometimes when it's high wind and those helmets, it's hard to hear. I mean, you got just that little hole for your ear, and it almost sounds like a whistle whenever you got high wind. So maybe the center snapped it a little early is my guess.
3rd and 17, ball at the 18 of Butler County. Delk takes the snap, pitches it left side. Anderson, he dropped it, has to dive on it, and I think was able to recover it again. Cats will keep possession. They're going to mark this either at the 22 or 23. If it weren't for the elements, you might give Brody a go, but I think here you got to roll it with the offense.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. And, it's a pitch play, and Colin's been very effective on the pitch play so far, handling them. But this rain's really coming down right now, so there's no way to keep the football dry. A lot of times you got officials that would – it lets you change in a new football every play. It doesn't look like these officials are working with the teams too much on that. That doesn't look like they're wanting to do that. So, I've seen officials work really hard at, making sure they have their own towel, and these officials are just letting it play wet.
4th and 21 at the 22 as this time the officials blow the whistle.
Oh. They're trying to get the play clock to reset.
The game clock is inside 7 minutes as they get it back underway before halftime. Anderson flanks out left. Delk takes the snap. He's going to look to throw it. floats one up into the end zone. There are multiple defenders there, and the interception dropped. But realistically, if you think about it, for Butler County, you catch that pick, you come out to the 20 because you drop it. Now you take over at the 22 instead, turnover on downs.
Yeah, and that's a play where, Brady.
It's what you mentioned earlier. It's almost a punt.
It's almost, yeah. And Brady, I think he's playing good so far this game. He's not had a lot of passes. He's not going to, but he's not made a bunch of mistakes.
He's had a lot of things put into his lap that could have been mistakes.
Yeah,
and made the most out of them.
And he's handled himself well, and I think that he had a good head. He's like, that's one where you can take a chance because it's 4th down. Put it in the field of play and see what happens. And it's unfortunate that it was a drop, but or it wasn't a touchdown, but nonetheless, you're able to play some defense.
Butler County was set to go to start the drive, but they weren't set in time. Delay a game, and they're going to walk it back 5 yards. They were back in that I formation with Phelps under center, which we talked about. Probably makes the most sense. Had good success on that first drive. Had 3 carries, 12 yards. Not a ton, but you average 4 yards a play. That's a first down. And out of that shotgun, have really had nothing but trouble.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why you'd want Phelps in the shotgun is so he can run. He's not as effective as a runner in the I, but
they run the I formation again as Phelps gives it off to Lonnie Phelps on the right side, and that time they lose a yard. The Cats jumped all over it. I think they know if they're in that formation one way or another, they're going to be running the football.
Yeah, but with Phelps, the quarterback, I kind of just wonder, is there another guy that could take a snap and give him the ball? And because I think that's what Butler County's their focus is.
Yep. Under center again, that wind howling now. It looks like some fans might lose their umbrellas having to grip it with 2 hands. As Phelps takes the snap, hands it off to Lonnie Phelps going left, blown up again. The Cats have another loss produced with this defense. Since that opening stretch of 3 plays, it has been nothing but losses for Butler County, as now they're back at their own 14-yard line, loss of 2. The last 6 plays, with the exception of 1 incompletion, have all lost yardage.
Yeah, and it's they're in a just a tough situation that keeps on getting tougher.
Yep. Rain not going anywhere. The wind has picked up. Looked like it might have calmed from that big gust we had a moment ago. Really hard to tell as they do play action this time out of that I formation. Phelps rolling left, tries to drop it off underneath, but again, just a tough catch to try and make. Goes off the hands, falls incomplete. And on 3rd and 13, Butler County will try to punt it away again.
And
last time it was advanced 12 yards and out of bounds, which realistically might be the safest thing to try and do. Cats brought a little bit of pressure off the edge. We've seen them, for the most part, trying to block punts, have the most success just bringing guys straight up the middle. We'll see if that's the strategy here. They've got a few more guys lined up on the line. 5:15 left before the end of the half. This one booted away down the far side. It's a good punt. Hits at the 45, now bounces towards midfield, and they'll mark it back at the Franklin Simpson 48-yard line. So a great job that time of flipping the field. And I believe that's Lonnie Phelps, the running back, that goes back there to punt it. Very effective that time.
Yeah, and I mean.
And if you notice, these last 2, he's gotten them off a lot quicker.
Yeah,
which is tough in the first place with it raining to try to get the ball in a spot to where you're comfortable with it. But I think now in a spot where you're not too worried about laces, you're not too worried about it being perfect. You're just catching that thing, you're dropping it, and you're booting it.
Yeah, you just get that ball out of it. I mean, and that was a great punt.
Yeah. Franklin takes over at their 48-yard line, leading it 7-0. 5:08 left before halftime against Butler County. Delk hands it off to Jones up the middle, trying to get away from a tackler. They're holding on by the jersey as he trips across midfield to the 49-yard line for a gain of 3.
Good hard run, and I think that's what you're going to see if you score on this drive. You got 5 minutes. You hate to say, we're just going to milk it with 5 minutes, and you want to score, but you're okay with whatever happens. You don't want a silly penalty, anything crazy to happen on this drive.
That was the 7th run of this game already for Aiden, who's really been the feature back so far for Franklin Simpson. 29 attempts for 136 yards, 5 touchdowns coming into this ball game. Easily the most we've seen him fed as now they go to lane. It keeps him fresh when Aiden's getting all those carries. Drives inside the 45. They stack him up at the 44. Line of gain is the 43-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and short.
There you go. And, Wildcats are in business. But the thing is that without, a lot of your toss plays aren't, in working with how much it's raining right now. So, a whole minute's come off the clock. You only have 4 minutes left. It's going to be tough to score for the Wildcats.
Need a yard here on 3rd down. They've gone to the sneak almost every time. They do it again here. And I think Delk got exactly that 1 yard they needed, and that's it. But it's been effective. We've seen that pulled out now multiple times over the last few games. Brady, not the biggest quarterback. Usually you've seen that used with bigger guys. I remember Luke Richardson was just perfect for it because he had that big body to kind of fall forward with it. Brady a bit sneakier with it. Will get it and try to pick his gap. Yeah. And he usually picks the right one.
Yeah, the best thing to do with a quarterback sneak is you just find where the guys aren't. Yep. I mean, pretty much on most every play you got a place where a guy isn't, and you just go or go to the smallest guy.
Cats taking their time inside 3.5 minutes left before halftime. Here comes Alford blitzing across the 35, 30. Has a man dragging him by the legs at the 25-yard line, but he picks up the 1st down and then some with a 15-plus yard gainer.
I like what Lane did on that play. He ran to the hole and then kind of bent it back, the other direction. So the defense was flowing to him, and he kind of ran past some guys. I think if Wildcats are going to get big runs, that's how they're going to have to do them.
17 yards for Lane on the ground. Between him and Aiden Jones, the 2 fullbacks for Franklin Simpson, 6 double-digit yardage carries in this ball game. They have been carrying the load, as they did against Russellville. Inside 3 minutes left in the half. This time they go to Alford again, but Butler County jumps it on the right side of the line, and that one, if anything, loses a yard.
Yeah, and it's that was tough. You just had a guy in the gap, and he couldn't get anything, and I think he put a lot of his gas into the last play, and it was kind of worn out. See if we'll get the ball to somebody else.
It's gone back and forth between Aiden and Lane. With those last 2, Lane took over with 8 carries. Aiden still with his 7, but between those two, 15 in this first half. As Delk is back under center again. They fake it up the middle this time, go around the edge with Zay Hampton. Had a big run against Russellville, has a big one here down the sideline. Can he get in?
Joe. Oh.
They mark him just short at the 1 yard line. We were both trying to peek through this window beside us that has kind of like columns that you can see through. The other part's covered in rain. We were delayed just waiting for the signal. And a flag comes in now from the Franklin Simpson huddle around the official. The ball marked at the 1 right now. And now a flag comes in as there were 7 or 8 Franklin players in a semicircle around the official. I don't know if they were upset that wasn't called a touchdown. It was a 24-yard run to the 1 yard line, and the flag comes in well after the play. The official now has picked it up without making a ruling, although they're still back there at the 25-yard line. We'll see what comes of this. As it stands, 24-yard run for Xavier Hampton, who Franklin waited and waited and waited to give the first opportunity against Russellville, then had a big 42-yard run late in that ball game.
Looks like it's going to be a dead ball penalty.
They are going to walk it back from the 1 yard line. Should go back 15 yards. And they stopped at the 11 initially, realized he needed to go 5 more. And now he's going back. If they're stacking these on top of each other with 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, somehow the ball is at the 26-yard line.
That's not math. You only have 1 penalty at.
So we're piecing it together. What Aaron Talley is saying beside me, it's a hold in combination. So they walk it back with the hold. Which is why Franklin, I think, objected in the first place. We didn't see the flag for holding, although very unsurprising, given how this game has gone so far. They call a hold that wipes the run off the board for Zay Hampton. He had gone 24 yards down to the 1 yard line.
These guys are not on the same page.
My only note on
that. Goodness.
Is that the 44 from the 26 is not 15 yards.
I don't know what math they're doing. I mean.
They signal a hold against Butler County's on it. Inside the 15-yard line, third fumble of the night for Anderson because of this wet weather. A flag was in the backfield, but now Butler County can decline and take over from the turnover.
And I don't know. You got to let the guys play. I mean, I'm at this point. This officiating, I don't know any game that I've really talked about the officiating. You know, I try to be unbiased with the officials. I respect the officials, but this is bad. This is bad. I understand the rain. I understand the element of play. I understand all these elements, but this, I'm sure Coach Cheney's going to send this tape in to KHSAA. This is not, you know, I just saying so much it's not acceptable.
Anderson fumbled just inside the 20, so had about a 25-yard gain before that ball slipped out. Goes inside the 15 where Butler County recovers, and they will take over. The official ruling we got there, which eventually makes an amount of sense, is that the holding penalty was supposed to be walked off from the 19-yard line, 10 yards to the 29. Okay. Originally it was at the 26. Then we end up at the 44. The 44 from the 29 makes sense, 15 yards. From the 26 makes no sense. It was just a wrong spot to start. Regardless of all of it, Franklin Simpson had almost all of it back, but then the ball fumbled, and Butler County able to decline a holding penalty and take over at their own 13.
I think this is a good situation, though. I mean, you know, you got 3 timeouts for defense. Yep. You want to try to force the turnover.
In that I formation, running it left side with Lonnie Phelps. Gets away from the first set of tacklers, tries to bounce it outside. Franklin Simpson saying the ball come out. They say they've got it. What's the official signal going to be? It's Franklin Simpson ball. They got it right back on a fumble.
Right on cue. Yeah, it's not a bad situation with the weather as it is. You don't want to be pinned back close, you know, with 80 yards to go, 87 yards to go, I think. Yeah, I mean, Franklin Simpson now is in better field position than they were.
So the Cats have a 1st and 10 after all of that at the Butler County 16-yard line, 1:48 to get this ball into the end zone with all of their timeouts, leading it 7-0 over Butler County. We can almost ignore that the last 5 minutes happened and get this thing back to normalcy. Delk hands it off Alford. You know, he is running mad inside the 10. 5 when he's running angry. You're not bringing him down. Touchdown Wildcats.
And no flags on the field and got in the end zone. That's what I was talking about. Whenever he's able to bend it back the other way, the defense just flies right by him. They think he's going to stay in his line, and he makes that great cut, wide open field, all turf, all the way to blue, into the end zone is Lane Alford.
Almost looking back as though to dare them to throw a flag after that play. As McAllister is in for the extra point. Clean snap, clean hold, it's up, and That's
pretty
good. 1:42 left before halftime, 14-0 now. Franklin Simpson leads it on the 16-yard touchdown run from Lane Alford. We're back after this on 92.3 WFKN.
Hey, Mr. Smith, what was that call about last Friday night?
Well, Doc, I thought he crossed the line.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the stands thought you were the one that crossed the line with that call.
I guess I get that all the time, Doc.
Well, I'm glad you finally came in here to get your eyes checked at Wilkins Eye Care.
And like I said, I hear that all the time.
Go, Cats!
Wilkins Eye Care, 705 North Main Street, Franklin, Kentucky.
Myself with a 16-yard touchdown run, 1 play, 1 score, and the lead is now 2 scores for Franklin Simpson as McAllister puts foot to ball, boots it at the squib. It goes off the face mask of the first Butler County man and hits inside the 40. The Bears jump on it, and they will take over about at the exact same spot they started the last drive at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and Butler County hadn't got anything going. They're going to try to on this drive, but Franklin Simpson, and they know they can strip the football, and I think they're going to try to do that again.
Butler County ran one play the last time they got that ball, started at the 13, their own 13, and fumbled it over to the Cats. And now they're going back to that shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers on the right side, a minute and a half to work with before halftime, trailing it by 2 scores. Phelps takes a snap. It's a high one, gives it off to Lonnie Phelps up the middle, and Franklin Simpson is all over it. Maybe got a yard.
Yeah, that's a good formation for Franklin Simpson. I mean, Butler County can't do anything out of the shotgun. I say that next play, we'll say, I jinx us, but they've not been effective so far. I mean, that is a fact. But, Franklin Simpson, you got to just keep teeing off. Keep teeing off.
They've tried to throw it 5 times, had the snap go past the quarterback, 2 sacks and 2 incompletions. Here on 2nd and 9, Garrett Phelps is going to keep it up the middle himself, going left. That's how they should use the shotgun, but he's tripped up short of the 45-yard line. Good job by Franklin Simpson to prevent that from being a bigger game. You cannot let Phelps get loose. Instead, only able to get up to the 43-yard line for a gain of 3. Looked like it was going to be a lot more, and now it's 3rd and 6.
And now Butler County, they got to make a decision. What are they going to try to do? I mean, with only, 30 seconds, almost about 30 seconds left on the game clock, looks like they're going to try to run it down.
I wonder if you're Franklin Simpson, you get a stop here. You at least call the timeout to make them try to punt it.
Yeah, I would.
24 seconds left and ticking. Play clock is at 5, so they're going to have to snap it. Phelps takes the snap, gives it to Lonnie Phelps up the middle. He's chopped down short of the 45-yard line as the clock ticks inside. 15 seconds left before the half, and it looks like Franklin Simpson is content to let this game go to halftime, leading it 14-0 over Butler County as the Wildcats look to pick up their first win in district play of this 2024 season. We'll take a break. When we come back, we get you all the scores from this opening half of play. We'll also recap you on all the action that we've already seen this week from high school football, and maybe get you an update on the one other game that we have going on besides ours. Barron County, our good friend Jay Turner, sending us in updates as the Trojans in action tonight alongside Franklin Simpson and Butler County. Again, at the break, Franklin leads it 14-0 over the Bears. You're listening to Franklin Simpson Football on 92.
What's the matter, Big Red? You're not your usual energetic self.
Are you getting a good night's sleep?
I know just the thing to help. Tossing and turning, a bad night's sleep can take you out of your game. It could be your pillow or mattress. Let Trent Bedding's sleep guides help you find the right sleep essentials for a good night's rest so you are at your best.
Remember, if I won't have it in my house, I won't deliver it to yours.
What makes us special is that we look for the story when it comes to our customers.
Just listening to them, talking to them, figuring out a little bit about their background. A larger bank is not going to ask you those questions to figure out the end goal for you.
We stuck with Franklin Bank and Trust for over 10 years, easily because of the service.
I like to think of us more than just checking accounts and loans and things, but dreams and goals and aspirations is what we're trying to help people reach.
Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown banking at its best.
I thought he crossed the line.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the stands thought you were the one that crossed the line with that call.
I guess I get that all the time, Doc.
Well, I'm glad you finally came in here to get your eyes checked at Wilkins Eye Care.
And like I said, I hear that all the time.
Go Cats!
Wilkins Eye Care, 705 North Main Street, Franklin, Kentucky. For more than 50 years, McCutcheon Electric has serviced Franklin and the surrounding communities. Wildcat senior Colin Anderson is the grandson of founder Charlie McCutcheon. Just like Colin provides power during the game, you can rely on McCutcheon Electric to light up your life. For all your commercial or residential electrical needs, contact McCutcheon Electric.
A spot in postseason play with us being a 5-team district. One of the 5 does not advance to the playoffs. You get a win. Obviously, you don't want to be the 4th seed, but step 1 is to clinch your spot as one of those 4 going into the postseason. And for Franklin Simpson, it hasn't been pretty. We knew it wasn't going to be with this weather, but the Cats have done just enough to have a 14-0 lead up to this point. Tyler Eaton joined by Tyler Arterburn. And I'd mentioned earlier, if you go back to the game last year between these two teams, that on the ground, Garrett Phelps, the quarterback for Butler County, was able to run in that game for 51 yards. If you go and you look at the team total for Butler County in that ball game on the ground, 49 yards. So the rest of the team accounted for 2 yards lost on the ground. It's been the inverse in the first half of this game. Lonnie Phelps, 7 carries for 10 yards. Kevin Robbins had a carry for 4 yards. Phelps, because of the snap that was low and the sacks. Officially, because at high school, college level, sacks counted as rushing yards, not like the NFL where it goes to your team passing total. 5 carries for a loss of 25 yards as a team officially with 2 incomplete passes. They've run 15 plays, not accounting for penalties, moving things around as well, for a loss of 11 yards. So for Franklin Simpson, obviously you've had some help for the weather. That's 100% wrecks what Butler County wants to do offensively. But they have done exactly what they've needed to do alongside a blocked punt, a recovered fumble, in taking care of business on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I had an old football coach that said there are things you can't control. You can't control the officials. You can't control the weather. You really can't control the emotions of the other team, but you can control yourself.
Yep.
And that's what Franklin Simpson, that's what their mantra's been. I mean, that we've questioned the officiating. I don't know, Coach. I don't know. I'm sure he won't be too pleasant with it, but he may not say it on the broadcast. But you know, the officiating's been what it is. The other team has been what they are. You know, with some stuff after the play, and I think it may be both sides. They're not calling it a lot, but I don't think the officials are doing a lot to clean it up at the same time. And you definitely can't control this weather. So what do you have to do? What you can do. Mm-hmm. And that's, as we go back to last week, block, tackle, and execute. And so far, with a 14-0 lead, Franklin Simpson has gotten the job done.
Franklin Simpson, last year against Butler County, had the lone example under the entire tenure of now 5th-year head coach Max Chaney where they won a game despite running for less than 200 yards. Had only 190, but they only ran it 20 times total in that ball game. They're already at 186 yards on the ground tonight with 27 carries, 16 of them coming from that fullback duo of Aiden Jones and Lane Alford. Aiden, 7 carries for 62 yards, Lane for 9 for 76, and 2 touchdowns, 1 from 18 yards out, 1 from 16 yards out. We knew without Blake McPherson playing tonight, leading rusher on the season for the Wildcats, as we saw against Russellville, it was going to be a lot of the fullbacks. I didn't know if we knew it would be just this much of these fullbacks, and the balance that we have seen tonight, it's new compared to past games between Aiden and Lane, where it's really just all right, we're going to give one of them the ball twice, wear you down that way. Okay, we're just flipping it to the other one. We are going to hammer this ball down the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Blake being injured, he would be another guy that can run up the middle, but and the pitches are they're there, but you know, Collins handled them, but the weather has picked up, the rain's picked up, the wind's picked up, so that play is kind of like a shotgun snap. It's a gamble, a punt snap. It's kind of a gamble, but You may try to see if you can get Colin some play in the game, but he's got to hold on to that football.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's had 2 fumbles,
three fumbles, one
loss. One lost, and he's got to hold on to that. He's got a double skin, and I hope the coaches are telling him at halftime is you don't have to have the home run. He's a home run guy.
Yeah.
He's let's go get in the end zone, find a way to get in the end zone. That's not this game. That's not this game. You get what you get. And you don't throw a fizz, what we tell my 4-year-old, but you get what you get, and you get satisfied with it. You just have to be satisfied because a fumble's worse. I like that play to Xavier that got called back for 80 yards and penalties on that play, and I'm exaggerating just a little bit.
Just a little bit, though.
About half. I mean, it was about 40 yards of penalties for whatever reason was called back, but I like that play where you're faking the fullback, and I think if you're going to get guys going on the outside like Colin, that's what you're going to need to do. Fake to the fullback and hand them on that reverse or that belly sweep.
If you just looked at the box score, you would think that Collins had a good game on the ground, 5 carries, 51 yards, and realistically, when they've given him the ball, he has produced big plays, 5 carries, 3 of them for double-digit yardage. But as you mentioned, just because of the way this game has gone, priority number 1 for Franklin Simpson the rest of the way, especially with a 14-0 lead already, is just protect the football. Mm-hmm. It's tough to know how many more of those outside opportunities there are going to be, especially when you look out here. This rain, this wind, it has not let up since this game kicked off an hour ago.
Yeah, it hasn't. And Butler County's going to get the football. Brody's going to be kicking it off, and he squibbed it so far.
Yep.
I kind of wonder if he's going to change that up and just try to boot that out. And I like my chances doing that with Butler County doesn't have a lot of speed, and hopefully you get a turnover, way down deep. So, I'll be interested in what they do coming out. But, yeah, you got to get the football back. You can't let Butler County have a good, long, sustained drive. You can't let them have a big play, which they're not a big play team. But, I heard somebody say a blind squirrel can find a nut every now and then. So, not calling people from Butler County a bunch of blind squirrels, but, the saying is what it is.
If for some reason you're watching from Butler County and you're offended that Tyler Arterburn implied that you are a blind squirrel, send all letters to him. No, I had absolutely nothing to do with it.
I'll own it. Tyler Arterburn, not Tyler Eaton.
One of the two. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get you updated on all the scores from last night, as a lot of games were moved up a day to account for the weather. And we'll also get you update on the one game that we know that's going on besides ours with Barron County in action tonight. Again, your score at halftime, 14-0. Franklin Simpson leading it over Butler County here on 92.3 WFKN.
What's the matter, Big Red? You're not your usual energetic self.
Are you getting a good night's sleep?
I know just the thing to help. Tossing and turning, a bad night's sleep can take you out of your game. It could be your pillow or mattress. Let Trent Bedding's sleep guides help you find the right sleep essentials for a good night's rest so you are at your best.
Remember, if I won't have it in my house, I won't deliver it to yours.
What makes us special is that we look for the story when it comes to our customers.
Just listening to them, talking to them, figuring out a little bit about their background. A larger bank is not going to ask you those questions to figure out the end goal for you.
We stuck with Franklin Bank and Trust for over 10 years, easily because of the service.
I like to think of us more than just checking accounts and loans and things, but dreams and goals and aspirations is what we're trying to help people reach.
Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown banking at its best.
Friday night.
Well, Doc, I thought he crossed the line.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the stands thought you were the one that crossed the line with that call.
I guess I get that all the time, Doc.
Well, I'm glad you finally came in here to get your eyes checked at Wilkins Eye Care.
And like I said, I hear that all the time.
Go, Cats!
Wilkins Eye Care, 705 North Main Street, Franklin, Kentucky.
For more than 50 years, McCutcheon Electric has serviced Franklin and the surrounding communities. Wildcat senior Colin Anderson is the grandson of founder Charlie McCutcheon. Just like Colin provides power during the game, you can rely on McCutcheon Electric to light up your life. For all your commercial or residential electrical needs, contact McCutcheon Electric.
Nothing over the Butler County Bears. Tyler Eaton joined by Tyler Arterburn as the two teams are, I would say, not the most excited they've ever been to leave the locker room and get a second half of play underway as Butler County takes the field first on the right side of the field. Wildcats to follow as they get set to warm up for this second half as we get set to watch them get set. Tyler Arterburn, a lot of games last night. Give us a breakdown of all the scores that we saw from across the area in that slate of Thursday night football in South Central Kentucky.
Well, let's start off. Russellville played Todd County Central, and Russellville won 41-6. Hart County had scored 55 points against Cavernas 28. Logan County 40, Callaway 7. Let's see. South Warren beat Greenwood 42-0. Paducah Tillman, and that was the Kentucky Sports Radio game of the week, but Paducah Tillman put it on Allen County Scottsville 42-16. Got Metcalfe County played Casey County 152-0. Bowling Green played Ohio County, which, believe it or not, is a district game, and won 57-0. Clay County of Tennessee beat Monroe County 21-6. The 3A juggernaut Christian Academy of Louisville won against DuPont Manual, who's, you think about those players, but they've won 35-10. Another game that's slated for Saturday. Warren East is playing Hopkinsville, but the game next week, Franklin Simpson is going to play Glasgow. And Glasgow lost last night. It was at Glasgow. They lost 21-14.
And I think the most notable thing there from that game with Adair County winning to not only move to 2-0 in district play, but remain undefeated on the season. We had kept up with Glasgow over the course of the season and noticed some teams playing them closer than maybe you would expect, and really hadn't been the season that maybe we expected for Glasgow. But I know the weather certainly plays a factor, and it's much harder for Adair County to get those dynamic players outside. But as good as Lane Grant and that offense is that we got to see firsthand at Adair a couple weeks ago, for Glasgow, I know you want to win every game. Playing that game to 7 says a lot about how good of a team that Glasgow squad might be compared to the results that we've seen up to this point in the year.
Yeah, I think they're going to play hard. I mean, they've lost their offensive coordinator for the past several seasons. The Glasgow he moved over to Barron County, and John Myers, that's the other game, and Barron County's tied 6-6 at the half with Greene County, but John Myers going over to Barron County, and their offense, Glasgow looks like it is trying to take shape, and some different assistants in Glasgow, and it looks like last night they were able to figure a couple things out. So they're going to be coming in hungry next week to hopefully get a district win. So Franklin Simpson's got to be ready in homecoming 2.0 next week.
And not just adjusting to a new offensive coordinator there at Glasgow. new quarterback situation
Yes.
without Easton Jesse, who had gone to Adair County, as we talked about during that game, is injured, out for the year. They put a running back at quarterback despite having last year's quarterback at running back. I know it's confusing. It was confusing to us because we had prepped for someone else entirely to be playing quarterback than who was, and Aiden Smith, who started at quarterback for that very, very talented Adair County team, senior heavy, with Lane Grant being the star, the way they utilize him at running back. This is a district, the media rankings still have Hart County up at number 2 in the state in Class 3A. Between them, Adair, Glasgow playing them tight. This is one of the better overall districts. It's got a case for being the best overall district in Class 3A this season.
Yeah, it does, and, which it's not good in the season if you want a district championship and several home games, but when it comes to playoff time, you got guys that are able to play better, and Hart County was able to make a good run last year because they, almost made it to the state championship.
Yep.
I think it was a score away. So, it says a lot with this district and how it prepares you for the playoffs.
Franklin Simpson, 24 minutes of play away from potentially locking up their playoff spot. Sounds weird to say it this early in the season, but when there are only 5 teams in the district and only 4 can go into the postseason, one win pretty much secures you that spot. The Wildcats will kick it away to start this second half, leading it 14-0. McAllister will boot it. He squibbed the last couple, as we saw in that first half. Butler County had trouble with the second one, and they've got some extra guys if you've looked over on that far side, anticipating that's where McAllister is going to kick it. They've got a triangle set up around where he's putting those squib kicks. He laces it right down the middle, fielded just inside the 20-yard line. Cats have a defender there, but able to escape and up to the 37-yard line on the return. As Franklin Simpson switches up the kicking strategy slightly, was still a low one on the ground most of the way, but it's returned well by Nicholas Francisco. And all that just to have the ball be spotted at the 38, as the last 2 kickoffs from the Squibs were at the 37.
Yeah, it's about the same place that if you just fell on it on a squib on an onside kick, it's about that same place, not too much different. So, but I like my chances of trying to kick it deep.
Shotgun formation for Phelps, 0 for 2 through the air in the first half. He's got trips bunched together on the right side, drops the snap, but it bounces off the turf right up into the hands of the running back, Lonnie Phelps, who at least gets it back for a loss of only 1. It almost looked like dribbling a basketball.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It looked like a bounce pass in basketball, but like dribbling, just
if you can master
bounce,
that, it's a heck of a trick play, but nothing intentional to it. If nothing else, you watch it, you think it was a spike.
Yeah.
And whatever they wanted to do there, this time Butler County will try it again. It's the same formation on 2nd and 11. Ball in the right hash. Phelps takes a high snap, throws it out right side. They were trying to set up a bubble screen to Meredith, their best receiver, coming off an 8-catch, 88-yard game against Hart County last week. Passes too far, falls incomplete, and they've yet to been able to connect for a pass tonight. Meredith, top 5 in Class 3A in catches with 25, touchdowns with 5, and just outside the top 5 with his 371 receiving yards on the year. And that's with just a 20-yard performance to open the season against Logan County. We'll see if they can utilize any of those pass catchers here on a 3rd and 11 at their own 36-yard line to start this second half. This time the 3 wide receivers on the left, high snap. It's fielded well. They're setting up a screen underneath, and we'll see. I think they're going to rule that was uncatchable, as Alford had bumped the running back Lonnie Phelps, who they were trying to set that up for. Bumped him from behind while the ball was in the air. It was, granted, a good 6 or 7 feet over his head, but certainly dicey.
I don't know if it's changed, but the rule used to be, according to some officials that I've heard, that there's
that wasn't a thing.
Well, yeah, that's not a thing, that an uncatchable pass for pass interference, but maybe they've changed the rules.
Because if there is no such thing as uncatchable, that certainly should have been one. Regardless, on 4th and 11 now, Butler County sends a man off late, and they'll look to punt it away, and the Cats have the line stacked. Alford trying to pick his spot. He's going to drop back now, and Butler County will boot it away. It's another good punt. Bounces at the 35, inside the 30, inside the 20. Delk going to have to field it this time. It's his first return of the year, and he just runs out of bounds just around the 20-yard line. Picked up what he could, but wanted to grab that ball before it rolled down any further. A great job again by Lonnie Phelps of flipping the field there.
Yeah, I think that was a smart, heady play by Brady, not trying to run up and fair catch it because, I mean, it's just hard to catch football in this weather. And but just letting it bounce, letting it settle, but not letting it roll and picking it up and just protecting himself and getting out of bounds. And I think that's a smart, heady play for him.
Butler County ran 13 plays for a loss of 11 yards in the first half there. They run 3 and they lose 1 more. Franklin Simpson out on the field. They ran it 27 times for 186 yards. Here they go with Jones up the middle. Bounces off the first man, but Butler County brings the brigade in and knocks him down for a short gain. Aiden with 62 yards in that first half alone picks up 1, really 1.5 there if we're being friendly to start the second half.
Well, but I mean, with 4 down territory the whole game, you're not going to – I wouldn't punt it, but, just 2-3 yards, a play, milks that clock, gets you out of here with a win. So as long as you're gaining positive yards each play, I think you're in a good position.
Jones, the fullback, once again. Alford is flanked off to the left side of the line. Anderson in the backfield as well. They give it to Jones running right across the 25-30, cuts left to the 35, stiff arms a man, and drives down near the 40. Flag comes in at the end of the play. For now, it's at the 39-yard line for a gain of 17. We'll see what the call is. With the spot that it came in, face mask is the most sensible call unless they're getting it on Aiden for the stiff arm that he threw, saying that he got caught up in the defender's face mask. And now they wave it off, I believe.
All right.
And it'll stand as the 17-yard gain for Jones, his 9th carry of the night. Now at 81 yards on the ground. A career game for young Aiden, who has gotten better and better and better as this season has gone on.
And his team's needed him this evening, and he's answered the call.
Laying in there at fullback now. Anderson goes into motion from right to left. Gets set up on the left side of the line. They fake it to Alford. Delt going to keep it running left. Gets outside across the 40 and rides a defender out of bounds as a flag comes in between the contact between the two quarterbacks, Garrett Phelps and Brady Delk on the run.
Yeah, well, the penalty they're going to call is an illegal blindside block, and it's going against Franklin Simpson, and that's one that used to be a highlight play, and I think it's a good call by the official. It's unfortunate for Franklin Simpson, but that's one that you should call to protect the players. If it's unnecessary to, I guess you used to say decleat somebody, then you don't need to do it. And that really hurts your team. And the coaches did a good job not yelling at the official, but going and taking a teachable moment on the sideline to talk to the young player.
Should have been an 8-yard gain up to the 47. Instead, Franklin Simpson back at their own 31. 1st and 18 after the penalty. Delk takes the snap under center, gives it off to Alford, slips through a hole on the right side, past the 35, spins at the 40, still dragging defenders. Flag comes in again late. Lane got all the way up to the 46-yard line. It seemed like a defender had a hand on him the entire run. Gained 16, and now we'll see what the call is this time. 3 straight plays with a flag. This one is a face mask on Butler County. And this time the penalty benefits Franklin. It's just a 5-yard variation, but it still puts Franklin into Butler County territory at the 49-yard line.
And the chains move, so that's a first down. So that was a big penalty. But good run by Lane Alford, but it made me a little nervous with how he's carrying that football. You got to double skin that, and again, I like the second effort, but this may not be the game to do that.
He has been bouncing off defenders all night. It's almost what you talked about earlier. You want to be safe, but on the other hand, I don't know how much they want to try to tackle him.
No, not too much.
I don't know that I would. This time it's a pitch outside Hampton. Nobody saw it coming. He's inside the 40, 35, cuts right, cuts left, 30, 25 down the sideline, and he's finally pushed out of bounds inside the 20. The entire Butler County defense crashed inside, and Franklin Simpson catches them off guard with the pitch play. Great job by Zay Hampton to control it and he gets all the way down to the 18-yard line for a gain of 31.
Yeah, and that play counted. He had a good run against Russellville last week, a good run earlier in this game, and it looks like Butler County is just not even taking in effect to number 24, Xavier Hampton, but he's making his name known.
Had the 42-yard carry last week, a 24-yard run wiped off earlier because of a penalty that would have set Franklin Simpson up at the 1. That time he gains 31, and the Cats are down at the Butler 18-yard line with a first down. 8.5 minutes left, third quarter. Alford, right side, cuts. Defender this time able to hold on as he was running right across the 15-yard line down to the 13-yard line. Still gained 5 and earned every bit of them.
Yeah, he did. He ran hard and he almost broke it. I mean, I think if he would have broke that tackle, he would have been able to find the end zone. So Butler County, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, they're gaining yards. Butler County is not too bad. They're a pretty good tackling team. You give credit where credit's due. I mean, they're bringing guys down when they can get to them.
Just don't have that much size.
No, they don't.
And so a lot of times it's going to take multiple guys to bring down these fullbacks. As they go to Alford left side, breaks a tackle, gets through another one, trying to hold on to him by the ankle, drives forward between two defenders, but he's knocked down inside the 1.
And very good run to get really close to the end zone.
We'll see if they reward him with the touchdown or give Aiden his first of the night.
And what that play was, Franklin Simpson runs that double handoff play where they fake to the fullback and give it to the second back through, and looked like Butler County was thinking that Brady was going to give it to the second guy through, but Lane took it and was able to get a good run and almost into the end zone.
3 backs, Anderson on the left, Jones in the middle. On the right is Alford. Delk under center. Gives it to Aiden, and he walks in untouched. 1-yard touchdown run for Aiden Jones, his 6th touchdown of the season. And as close as Lane was to punching that one in himself, I'd say before the end of this game, Aiden deserved a trip to the end zone.
Yeah, he did. With how hard he's running, yeah, he needs to get that ball in there, and he's having a great game as well, and he's making sure he's holding on to that football. He's doing a great job of that.
Great drive for Franklin Simpson as they keep it on the ground between the two fullbacks, with the exception of the one big play outside to Hampton. Picks up 31. Alford drags defenders down to the 1, and Jones punches it in for 6 to make it a 3-score ball game. McAllister's PAT on the way, and so far, so good. 21-0, Franklin Simpson leads Butler County here on 92.3 WFKN.
The special is that we look for the story when it comes to our customers.
Just listening to them, talking to them, figuring out a little bit about their background. A larger bank is not going to ask you those questions to figure out the end goal for you.
We stuck with Franklin Bank and Trust for over 10 years, easily because of the service.
I like to think of us more than just checking accounts and loans and things, but dreams and goals and aspirations is what we're trying to help people reach.
Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown banking at its best.
What's the matter, Big Red? You're not your usual energetic self.
Are you getting a good night's sleep?
I know just the thing to help. Tossing and turning, a bad night's sleep can take you out of your game. It could be your pillow or mattress. Let Trent Bedding's sleep guides help you find the right sleep essentials for a good night's rest so you are at your best.
Remember, if I won't have it in my house, I won't deliver it to yours.
That's another squib. This one mishandled by Butler County. They have to go back to the 20 to get it and chop down at around the 30-yard line. It'll be the worst field position Butler County has had off a kickoff. Was a good tackle as Clayton DeWeese was running near the sideline. Cats go down, take him out at the legs. He took flight, landed on his back. Fortunate that he's able to get up and shake it off. One of those receivers for Butler County that because of this weather have had a very quiet night, to say the least. 0 for 4 through the air for a team that on the season averages almost 200 yards per game passing the football, the 5th best passing offense in Class 3A. They've got an empty backfield here. 3 wide receivers on the right, 2 to the left. Ball on the right hash for Phelps. They bring a man in motion now. as the snap is a little high. They were looking for a hitch underneath. It's cut off. Phelps is going to have to try to run with it. Gets loose on the left side. Cats have plenty of defenders there. And this time Butler County will roll the dice at their own 39-yard line.
Yeah, no question here. They should run the ball. And
they've got that empty shotgun formation. If anything, you're assuming this is a keeper for Phelps.
They may run up and sneak it. Nope.
Phelps does keep it. The Cats bring pressure all around him, but Phelps able to run up the middle between all of it, as Franklin Simpson did a great job jumping around the edges, but Phelps kept it up the middle, picks up 5, and Butler County moves the chains.
Yeah, whenever it's 4th and 1, I mean, you don't have much that you can do, so he was able to get the first down. Defense can't do much, so now it lived to play another play. Try to make something happen here.
After losing 25 yards on the ground in that first half because of sacks, Phelps has picked up 14 on 3 carries here in this second half. 6.5 minutes left, third quarter. They're going to look to throw it here. Had the first completion, but again, it's dropped on an out route on the far side. Trying to get it to Meredith, who has been sure-handed all year long, just can't control it in the elements.
Yeah, it's just tough catching the football, and I mean, I think the rain has picked up, the wind definitely has picked up from earlier, and it's just different. I mean, right now they're not getting dry footballs out there each play. I mean, it's just not a good situation to try to catch the football.
They're sticking with that empty formation with 5 wide receivers. Phelps takes the shotgun snap, pressured this time. He's going to keep it running left. The Cats had it well contained, but a good move by Phelps to hesitate, cut outside at midfield, and gets all the way down to the 45-yard line. Knocked down the first down marker, but got what he needed on a great run. A defender was there for Franklin Simpson, but Phelps hesitated and cut outside, picked up 11.
And you got to make that adjustment at Franklin Simpson's defense. You got to know that Phelps is going to scramble. I just kind of wonder if they're going to bring pressure. It's hard to do that with 5 wide receivers, but you got to do something.
Well, the Cats have brought pressure outside, and this time a fantastic play coming off the edge by Case and Himshoot. They tried to get it out quick. Himshoot jumps up, bats it down in the backfield for another incompletion. And they're an example of what Franklin Simpson's been doing well. They're getting pressure off the edge, but it's leaving the middle open for Phelps to make a play.
And some of these guys, you're thinking pass protection, but Phelps is a runner. I don't consider him a viable passer back here with the elements. In a dry game, he can do some things, but in this one, you gotta stay in your gaps.
Snap gets away from Phelps, now running to his right. Cats are all over it. Phelps throws it over the middle to a lineman, it looked like, if anything. They're going to signal that it was incomplete.
If that's a lineman, it should be illegal touching, but the officials are talking about it.
And there comes the flag, because that's exactly what it was. The only player in the area was an offensive lineman. They were fortunate it wasn't intercepted, was just floated up.
Now, if a eligible guy does touch the football, it tips it, and I think that's what the officials were going to discuss. If an eligible receiver tips the football, then a lineman can catch it, and we've seen that, happen before, but that's what they were discussing.
Ball will go back to midfield at the 50. And
now I think the debate is it a loss of down?
They now officially move it over to 3rd down and 15.
That's what the officials were discussing. They get it right, 3rd and 15.
2 wide receivers right, 2 left. Ball on the left hash. They fake the handoff. Dumping it off at the last moment is Phelps, and again it is dropped underneath by Meredith. Was spotted up at the 45-yard line. That one, what we've seen a couple times now, receiver had it in his hands, started to turn up field, but didn't secure the ball before trying to make his move.
And now it's 4th and 15. Looks like they're going to play this. I don't think they're punting.
I think in this spot, down 21-0. And seeing what this Franklin Simpson offense has been doing, I don't know if there's any debate here.
Yeah, because, Franklin Simpson, if they're successful here, their goal is just to wind out this clock. That's what they're going to look to do.
Trips right in an empty formation. Phelps gets the shotgun snap, staying in the pocket, pumps, now throws across the middle. Flag comes in the defensive secondary. Anderson has a pick. Running down the sideline, an official got run over by a Butler County player. It was an accidental collision. Anderson eventually chased down inside the 15-yard line. He's marked at the 13. There are 2 flags in the secondary. We'll see if this pick holds. There was another flag down at the midfield logo. So collectively, 3 flags down. An official was down.
There's a lot that went on. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I believe it's going to be pass interference down deep. Hope that official, he's all right. He looks like he's up and walking, but that's just a scary position for a lot of guys on an interception. You don't know where the ball is. Vision's not the best here, so the official did get hit and his hat knocked off.
And credit to White Hat. He jumped right back up.
Yeah.
I thought for a moment the White Hat he thought might be a white helmet was trying to lay a block for the Wildcats on that interception return.
Yeah. And I don't know what the other penalties are going to be. I mean, they're going to sort this out. Take a second.
Something you assume has to be against the Wildcat defensive secondary. Everybody's already back to the original spot, but then there's the extra flag down at midfield. We get the pass interference call against Franklin Simpson. And we get a personal foul as well against Franklin Simpson. So there was a blindside block during the interception return. Though there was the pass interference before the interception. I think that what is now being asked about by the Franklin Simpson coaching staff is if that can be enforced if the interception is wiped away by the pass interference.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but we'll see what the officials do.
They're going to walk it up, if nothing else, from midfield to the 35. And they're going to stop there. And if they stay there, I believe it'll have just been the pass interference. That is enforced, and that is where we'll get back underway. 5:34 left, third quarter. Butler County had thrown an interception that would have set Franklin Simpson up after the return inside the Butler 15. Instead, a pass interference called. And the Bears keep possession up at the Franklin Simpson 35-yard line. Both teams now set to get back underway as they'll again run that empty formation for Phelps in the shotgun. Notice they've even moved him back. He's waiting for the snap about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, so they're giving him some extra space. Takes the snap from midfield, looking downfield, holding it loosely in his hand, tries to get outside now. Cats have multiple players back there. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped for another sack.
That's a good job by the defensive line. That was the adjustment that I was talking about that they needed to make. Treat him like a runner. Don't just if you're in a pass rush, you just run upfield and you try to get a guy. You try to get that sack, but kind of be impatient. Stay in your gaps, almost like a zone defense. Against the zone run, the zone blocking scheme for the offense. A defense where you make sure you hold your gaps and stay there. And if you can get a pass rush, get there. And the Wildcats did a great job of staying home, staying in their gaps, and it paid off with a sack.
Sack loses 10 yards back to the 45-yard line, 2nd and 20 there. Phelps in the gun, takes the snap. Drops back, now standing still in the pocket, throws across the middle, it's incomplete. Was looking for Meredith. Alford was there shooting up in coverage as a flag comes in against Butler County for a hold. I wonder if you accept this here, just decline it to make it 3rd and 20.
Yeah, you decline that one, and he's asking Coach what he wants to do. I would definitely decline that. Put them in 3rd down instead of 2nd down.
Official signals the penalty again, and the Cats do decline it. So it will be 3rd and 20 for Butler County at the Franklin Simpson 45. And what is shaping up to be potentially their last stand in this ball game. You score, you make it a ball game. If not, you're down 21-0 with a Franklin Simpson offense that has been enforcing their will these last few drives and have really only been stopped by themselves.
And now there's some discussion again for some reason. Don't know.
3 officials were converging around the ball. And now they're bringing in the 2 officials from the defensive backfield. And Franklin Simpson will huddle up during the stoppage, with the exception of Lane Alford, who's going to go out and chat with Coach Cheney. I think he's trying to understand what's going on.
I don't know.
And now all the officials are gathered together, and Butler County will head to their sideline.
I don't know what the debate would be, but, you know, now the 7th official's going in.
Both teams headed to their sidelines. Xavier Hampton gave us a little dance as he made his way over.
I mean,
there was one official who had stayed over on the Franklin sideline. He's now joined the huddle. The winds have picked up significantly. As one official, two of them come to chat with Coach Cheney. Colin Anderson doing jumping jacks to try and stay warm in this weather.
I mean, I don't.
Butler County's offense back on the field. Franklin Simpson's defense back out on the field. And still no real clarification for what the conversation is about, as Butler County's coach Robbins is talking to the officials. As after all of that, Butler County is walked back to their own 45-yard line. It looks like there was a miscommunication after all of that as to whether or not Franklin Simpson wanted to accept that hold. The Cats choose to, and it's now 2nd and 30. There's our reset. Butler County at their own 45. 4.5 minutes left, third quarter. Butler just going to run it here up the middle with Lonnie Phelps. Picks up a few, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
All right, now we're at 3rd and long.
So I guess technically pays off there. You go from 3rd and 20 to 3rd and 26.
My guess is that they were confused in the holding penalty. They said I'm sure they told it was going to be 2nd and 20, but really it was going to be 2nd and 30 because the holding's from the spot, and I'm sure that's what that got confused. And yeah,
here a 3rd and 26. Phelps takes the shotgun snap, looking for a deep ball down the near side. Cats have multiple defenders there, but it's caught, almost dropping it, but juggling on the shoulder and holding on is Nicholas Francisco down the sideline. And all of a sudden, Butler County on life support have life on the 29-yard completion down the sideline.
Yeah, hadn't got one from anywhere else, but one that just looked like it was thrown up there and shot putted and lost in the rain and the lights. And luckily for Butler County, one of their players got it.
First completion in 10 attempts goes for 29 yards on a 3rd and 26. They hand it off to Lonnie Phelps running up the middle. He's swallowed up again. As much as they've tried to get the run game going in this second half, it has not worked with anybody but the quarterback, Garrett Phelps, on his scrambles, as that one loses a yard. Back to the 23.
All right.
3 minutes left and ticking in what has been a slog of a third quarter between penalties and stoppages. Two wide receivers each way, both Phelps in the backfield, the quarterback. Garrett awaits the snap, sends a man into motion. It's a high snap. They fake the handoff. Phelps is going to keep it running right side and chopped out of bounds. Might have got a yard up to the 22-yard line, well defended by Franklin Simpson.
It looked like Phelps snapped it too early and everybody looked confused, but it paid off for Butler County, able to get a gain.
He had sent Meredith into motion. Looked like they were going to try the sweep, but instead Phelps kept it himself. Picked up a yard, and it's 3rd and 10 at the 22 of Franklin Simpson. Best scoring opportunity Butler County's had since they drove down earlier and then ended up with a 4th and 40 because of penalties and sacks. Phelps bobbles the snap, rolling to his left, throws it across his body, and at the last moment it's dropped. It's going to be ruled incomplete. Franklin Simpson wanted a catch and then a fumble, but not quite controlled, and we don't have the football move rules like you have in the NFL. It might have been dicey if that were the case, but ultimately falls incomplete, and it's 4th and 10. Butler County going to go for it at the 22-yard line of Franklin Simpson.
And they have found a way to have the ball for a very long time. I mean, this is about to be the 16th play of this drive.
With so many penalties.
Oh, my goodness.
And so much has been with the clock stopped. That's the good news if you're on the Butler County side. The first half, in terms of real time total, took an hour. We've already been under play for 40 minutes in this second half. Phelps takes a snap on 4th down, rolling left. Lonnie Phelps tries to block Alford from getting to the backfield. Now Phelps floats it up high. Anderson dropped the interception. Diving effort in the backfield to no avail. There's a flag in on the near side at the 20.
I'm assuming it's going to be a legal man downfield, just understanding when it was thrown and where it was thrown, but we'll wait the penalty.
As it stands, it's a turnover on downs with the incompletion in the end zone. That is the call, and Franklin Simpson escapes after the 29-yard completion down the sideline gave Butler County a chance. The Wildcats hold, and they'll take over after the 4th down stop.
And 16 plays later, Franklin Simpson gets the football back.
And was nearly a disaster in the end zone as the interception was dropped.
Yeah.
And Butler had a receiver diving after it, just could not quite catch up to it. And the Wildcat offense will finally trot out their back on the field. Normally you'd say, well, at least they're rested, but we know the case with all these two-way players.
Yeah.
Not the case in the slightest. As Aiden Jones lines up at fullback, Alford out on the left side. They fake it to Aiden, go around the end. Colin Anderson, he's been waiting for a run. Gets across the 25, cuts outside 30, stays on his feet, and steps out of bounds at the 39-yard line. 17-yard gain to start the drive.
And that's a play that I like to get Colin involved more. Fake that handoff to the fullback and give it to him on kind of a reverse or a sweep play. Second handoff, second guy through, a very good play. But also Brody Perry on that play. We had earlier an illegal blindside block. Looked like he was thinking about doing it, and maybe since one of the guys did it earlier, he just went and found a better guy to block. And credit to the young guy on that play.
Nelk back under center for a 1st and 10 at Franklin's 39-yard line. Takes the snap. This time they go up the middle. Aiden Jones slips through some tacklers across the 45, past midfield, staying on his feet, down inside the 45 of Butler County.
Good run by Aiden. I think you're going to see a lot of Aiden and Lane. Colin opened up this drive, but this is the type of drive where you want to just ice this. You want to wear out the clock. You want to get on.
A popular stat in the NFL for running backs has become yards after first contact. And if you had that number for these Franklin Simpson backs tonight, my goodness, they're being hit around the line of scrimmage every play and driving through. As this time they fake to Jones, fake to Alford. They want the deep ball outside. It's a jump ball to Anderson. Tries to come back to get it. It was underthrown as Brady was pressured. Wind also blowing back into his face. It's kind of slanted.
Oh, that wind
back
carried
and
that
going
football.
left. My goodness, just killed it in the air.
I've played in a lot of games where there's been rain the whole game. I don't think I've ever played in a hurricane. I mean, tropical storm, whatever you call it. I don't know what it is in Kentucky, but is it on land? Is it still a hurricane?
It's a tropical depression.
Depression. Well, I guess some people are depressed, but anyway.
Both passing games are, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've had one completed pass between both teams tonight. As Delk settles in under center, gives it off to Jones. Again dragging defenders, this time pulled down near the 40, but picks up 4 to make it 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, I just milk this clock. Wildcats are looking at it, and they got to run one more play this quarter if they stay in bounds, and I'm sure that's in the back of their mind. Get a good solid play, get a good gain here, and then, I know it's 3rd and about 6, but, whatever it is, you got to get yardage here, and then you'll be in a good position.
Perry comes back in at receiver. He's on the right side. Alford on the left side of the line. Anderson and Jones in the backfield. Delk under center, takes the snap, pitches it out left side. Anderson lost it again, but falls on it back near the 45-yard line. Pitch was a little bit behind him, but normally, again, you expect that to be held on to. We'll see where they officially mark it. It will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. And with it being placed down at the 46-yard line, it's going to set up a 4th and long when we come back to start the fourth quarter. Good news for Franklin Simpson, a 3-score lead. 21-0, the Cats lead it as we head into the final frame here against Butler County. You're listening to Wildcat Football on 92.3 WFK.
Hey, Mr. Smith, what was that call about last Friday night?
Well, Doc, I thought he crossed the line.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the stands thought you were the one that crossed the line with that call.
I guess I get that all the time, Doc.
Well, I'm glad you finally came in here to get your eyes checked at Wilkins Eye Care.
And like I said, I hear that all the time.
Go, Cats!
Wilkins Eye Care, 705 North Main Street, Franklin, Kentucky.
Or not, I don't care if you get the first down or not. Just don't do anything silly. Keep the ball on the ground.
4th and 12, Cats are going to run it here. They go around the edge with Anderson. Gets outside, 45-40, gets a great block on the outside, inside the 30, cuts at the 25, stays on his feet, gets out of bounds at the 17-yard line, given 29.
And then there's a flag after the play. It's going to be a dead ball and sportsmanlike, and he's looking at a Butler County player, and that's where he points. And this, in a game like this, it can get very chippy as well. You know, a lot of guys, once you get beaten down and you're soaking and you're dripping wet, it's you get some unsportsmanlike penalties.
Should half the distance to the goal line. Needed 12 yards on that play. Anderson rattles off 29, and now Franklin Simpson, after the penalty, will be at the Butler County 9, leading at 21-0. Here's that 3-back set, all lined up behind Delk. In a line from left to right, Alford, Jones, Anderson. They give it to Aiden, bounces outside, hit at the knees, tries to lunge forward, but he's going to be marked down short at the 3-yard line, picked up 6.
Oh, and they ruled him in bounds, so that keeps the clock running. I thought he fell out of bounds. But
I guess they're saying the knee came down before he was trying to extend out of bounds to get as close to the goal line as he could.
I thought that was a rough spot, but we're at a different angle. He's going to be 3 yards from the end zone.
Aiden with a 1-yard touchdown. Lane with 2 scores. One from 18 out, one from 16 out. They switch the lineup here. Anderson's on the left. They fake it to Jones, go to Alford, trying to bounce outside, escapes an arm tackle, and he's got touchdown number 3 of the night.
Good, hard run by Lane Alford. He hadn't won a Pelican Snowball Player of the Game yet, has he?
If Coach does not bring him up here after tonight, he's saving him for some kind of special occasion.
Yeah, I don't know what else it would be, or if I don't know if they'll just want to get everybody out, get changed or whatnot. But oh man, I hope he brings it up. I mean, there's already water leaking in here, so you can drip a little bit more. We're excited, be excited for him to come up.
That's his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. 23 on the ground for his career, 26 total, with the extra point going through. Franklin Simpson leads 28-0, a minute into this fourth quarter. There's been a theme in this game where as soon as we start a quarter, Franklin Simpson tends to get things going pretty well on offense. The theme throughout, it was this way in the first half. It's continued to be this way in the second half. These fullbacks, and it's been almost out of necessity with McPherson out to get Jones more involved, but I can't fully remember a Franklin Simpson offense where we've seen such a rotation like this of 2 fullbacks. You always have somebody that comes in and spells whoever your starting fullback is. That was Lane for Gavin Dickerson the last couple of years, but I don't know that we've ever seen this kind of thunder and thunder punch from the fullback position just being rotated back and forth.
Yeah, I was thinking, you hear a lot of teams talk about thunder and lightning, Colin Anderson being that lightning, but he's not going to be as effective this game with the weather and the pitches and the pass catches that make him successful. So thunder and thunder, man, it is appropriate for this game, and it's fun for a lineman coach like me to watch.
Lane with 112 yards on the ground in this ball game. As the ball is squibbed down the middle. Butler County has trouble handling it. Cats have multiple defenders back. Can't make a play initially, but they're going to wrap up the returner inside the 25-yard line. Butler County will take over at their own 24.
And see what Butler County does. I mean, they're down 28-0. Are they going to still try to come out in 5 wide and throw the game and throw the ball everywhere and get several incompletions in a row, except that one that almost looked like a shot put that he was able to luckily come down with? I don't know if they're going to do that, or they're just content and they know what's at stake and they know their fate, and they're just going to – I'd be interested to see what Butler County does.
1 for 12 through the air for 29 yards. And, again, we'd be remiss not to mention the weather's certainly a factor in that. Drops because of how wet it is. Tough to throw the ball in this wind. Very limited with what they want to normally do offensively with this weather. Certainly more advantageous to Franklin than Butler County in these conditions, as they are going to run it going to the right side to start this drive, and that is wrapped up for a loss in the backfield. Anytime they've tried these handoffs out of the shotgun, Franklin Simpson, for the most part, has just been all over it.
And I'm surprised Phelps is not trying to pull those more. I saw in some of his game film that he'll be reading that backside end, and if the backside end tries to go any towards the running back and he pulls it, I mean, he's taking himself out of the game, out of the running game, doing that.
They've got a split back formation, 2nd and 11 after a loss of 1. They give it to the other Phelps, Lonnie, who barrels across the 24 to the 25-yard line, picks up 2 to set up 3rd and 9. So a couple of conservative runs to start this drive. We'll see if they go back to the air here, needing 9 to move the chains.
And another thing is they are going into the wind. This howling
my
wind.
Goodness.
We saw that pass from Brady that he tried to throw, and I think he had as much as he could on it, but it came back the other way. So, I don't know.
Split back formation again with Lonnie Phelps on the left, Robbins on the right side of his quarterback. It's a play-action fake. Both running backs just ran away. Alford trying to chase down the quarterback who throws it away. Was on the right side of the field. Slow to get up as Phelps, helped up by a Wildcat over there in him shoot. They might call an intentional grounding, and there comes the flag late. Ball didn't get past the line of scrimmage. Nobody was over there.
And that's a loss of down, so you take that penalty, and it's going to end up being – is it going to be 4th down? Yeah, 4th down and long. So,
and again, trailing at 28-0 as that walks it back to the 20-yard line. It'll be 4th and 14, and Butler County will punt it away. Anderson this time will drop back to receive it. Last time Delk was back there, which is normally the returner, and I say returner, mostly just catcher, playing center field back there. And after these last few good punts from Phelps, they put him back, and this one another boomer. Anderson going to let it bounce. It goes inside the 40, inside the 30, down past the 25-yard line. I'll tell you what, if nothing else, Lonnie Phelps can punt that ball.
Yeah, it was a great punt, and oh my goodness, it got down there, but I'm okay with it because with 9 minutes left, Franklin Simpson's got a good opportunity to run as much time off that clock as they can and try to get out here with a win.
If you score here, you can enforce that running clock. Up 28-0, 9:04 left in the ball game. Official spot is the 23-yard line for a punt that was coming from the 20. Delk back in there as he brings in the play call. Anderson will be out for this play. They've run this formation a lot with Jones as the fullback and Lane flanked off somewhere else on the line. They pitch it out right side to Hampton. Cuts upfield across the 30, 35-40. Jukes a man there. Past midfield. Escapes an ankle tackle. Inside the 40. Down the sideline. Wrapped up inside the 30.
I said he's going to try to run out the clock. Hey, I'm fine with it. Because, I mean, if you get another touchdown and you get an extra point, then it is a running clock the rest of the game. But Oh, my goodness. He's had so many good runs these past 2 games.
Give him 50 yards on the dot that time. He's got 81 on 2 carries.
And I'll be honest, he's not Xavier Hampton's not the fastest guy, but he's very patient, methodical with his runs, and he knows when to speed up and slow down with what he has, and just able to get good runs and make guys
just made
miss.
Good cuts.
Yes, really good cuts. I mean, that's it more than anything.
Hampton goes into motion again. They hand it off, ball going right side across the 25, spinning down to the 23-yard line.
And I like what I saw with Lane there. Had 2 hands on the football, and he's.
I believe that's Keegan Hazel in there that got the carry.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Lane looked like he hit the football then. That's Keegan. I mean, he's been playing, blocking for some guys, and getting in some carries and some minutes here.
Picked up 4 up the middle. They've got Zay and Hazel in the backfield. They go back to Keegan, this time wrapped up shy of the 20. I think they're going to say he was only able to get up to the 22-yard line. Line of gain is the 17, so need 5 here on 3rd down.
Well, good job by Keegan again, just to run the ball and get some yards and trying to spell some guys and getting everybody some runs up the middle.
7.5 minutes left and ticking. 28-0 the Franklin Simpson lead. 3rd and 5 at the 22-yard line. Franklin going to run it up the middle here with Hazel again. Gets up to the 20-yard line. Gain of 2 to set up 4th and 3, and you very much assume that Franklin Simpson is going to stay on the field.
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing in their heavy set with their big guys in the backfield. Lane Alford, Aiden Jones back in there with Colin Anderson as well, and going to look to just pound it right here.
Cats fake it up the middle. Back in there is Lane Alford. He gets the carry running right, gets past a tackler at the 10, drags one into the end zone. He's got another touchdown. They bring in Lane for the 4th down play, and he makes the most of it.
Business is good on that, making business decisions not to tackle him, and Lane is able to get in there.
34-0, the Franklin Simpson lead after the 4th touchdown of the night for Lane Alford. That one from 20 yards out. And they're going to take the extra point. McAllister out there for the 5th time. Up and good.
And an important one.
6:29 left, and it'll tick the rest of the way through. Cats lead it with a running clock against Butler County. You're listening to Wildcat Football on 92.3 WF. Fourth down for Lane Alford. Fitting because it's his 4th touchdown run of the day. As this time McAllister lets loose on the kickoff. It gets past a Butler County returner and makes its way into the end zone for the touchback.
All right, now Butler County gets the football back, and you got about 7 or 8 plays maybe and left in this game, and with a running clock, and they're running it on the kickoff, and everybody's looking to get out of here.
That rain has not wavered at all, but I will say that the few umbrellas we've seen here in the Franklin Simpson crowd. That number has stayed about the same. They've stuck around for this ball game. The few and the faithful here to support the Wildcats through the elements, and if you're listening or watching from home, we certainly appreciate you joining us. It was a game that, realistically, we didn't know, A, when it would happen, B, if it would happen, or C, if it happened, what would be surrounding it with homecoming.
There's games this week, and there are some teams I was looking on KHSAA. Some teams are playing on Monday to just avoid this storm, but Franklin Simpson right in the heart of it playing.
Phelps takes the shotgun snap. They're going to hand it off on a run to the right to Lonnie Phelps, who picks up a yard before he's wrapped up by a couple of Wildcats.
And just trying to run out the clock.
Inside 4 minutes left. Franklin Simpson will move to 4-2 overall on the season, 1-1 in district play, and take care of business before they get ready for what's a really big game, not just because now it's homecoming, but a huge district game against Glasgow now that the Cats have faced, who we think are probably the favorites in this district in Adair County. Hart County would have something to say about that when those two teams face off. As Lonnie Phelps gets it again, running up the middle, this time with a second jolt, jumps across the 25 up near the 28-yard line to make it 3rd and short.
And I already know, I mean, some of these coaches, I mean, they've already been looking at Glasgow. It's not like you want to overlook some people, but anybody, but I've already seen, I mean, they've downloaded film, they've watched film of Glasgow. They knew what Butler County had. I mean, 35-0. I mean, get the guys ready to play, but at the same time, don't worry about it too awful much.
Another shotgun handoff to Phelps, bounces outside, escapes a tackle, gets past the 30, 35 down the sideline, and stepped out at the 38 for a gain of 10 to move the chains.
So continuing on that, I really expect Franklin Simpson to almost have, you know, coaching-wise, strategy-wise, almost 2 weeks of film, 2 weeks of studying. Glasgow, I mean, they had to play Adair County last week, so they were focused on that. They knew that wasn't a gimme, and it wasn't because they lost. You don't want to think any game's a gimme, especially when you're 2-2 and you've had some rough games, and you started out 2-2 and had rough games, but they're getting some things going.
2 minutes left in this ball game. Butler County just trying to salvage what they can here with the running clock, trailing at 35-0. Going to fall to 0-6 on the year, 0-2 in district play. Shotgun snap, it's a keeper for the quarterback. Garrett Phelps gets outside across midfield. He'll get another first down to the 49-yard line with a gain of 13.
And you got about 3 plays left and a lot of subs on defense. Looks like almost purely your second team. I don't see any starters out there, so some guys getting reps. And Sam Satterlee, that number 8, and that looks nice seeing that at a Satterlee wearing that, playing middle linebacker. Sam, the younger brother of Hayden.
We'll have to have Hayden's breakdown of Sam's play the next time he's up here with us.
There you go.
1st and 10 ball at the Franklin Simpson 49-yard line. High snap handled. It's a handoff out to the right side. Trying to bounce it is Clay Steff, but he's wrapped up, dropped in the backfield. Lost the football. They're going to say he's down, but back there to make the play was Sam Satterlee.
Right on cue. I set him up for that. So some of these players, they listen to the broadcast later on. So Sam's a good kid, and I'm glad to see him make that play. A lot of good kids. I coached about every one of them, that's out there playing.
So if there's anything good they do, we know where that came from. Any bad habits, nothing to do with you.
Well, that can be determined later.
Inside 40 seconds left, maybe the final play of the ball game. On a 2nd and long, gets a handoff going down the right side, and there with another tackle, it's Sam Satterlee. He's just racking them up.
He heard us talking about
to finish this ball game. And with that, we'll see if Butler County tries to fit in one more play. They send in Lonnie Phelps back out there as they huddle up one more time. Inside 10 seconds left. They break the huddle, but as the clock ticks down, this one will come to a close. 35-0. Franklin Simpson wins it over Butler County to move to 4-2 overall in the season, pick up their first win in district play. Now 1-1 in Class 3A District 2. Butler County falls to 0-6. They are 0-2 within the district. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get you all the numbers from this matchup. We'll see if Coach Chaney is able to make it up through the elements to chat with us, and we'll find out who that Pelican Snowballs player of the game is. We've got a favorite, but we know Coach Chaney likes to throw in some curveballs, so we'll ultimately see who gets that nod. Again, your final score, 35-0. Franklin Simpson takes it over Butler County. You're listening to Wildcat Football on 92 point.
What's the matter, Big Red? You're not your usual energetic self.
Are you getting a good night's sleep?
I know just the thing to help. Tossing and turning, a bad night's sleep can take you out of your game. It could be your pillow or mattress. Let Trent Bedding's sleep guides help you find the right sleep essentials for a good night's rest so you are at your best.
Remember, if I won't have it in my house, I won't deliver it to yours.
What makes us special is that we look for the story when it comes to our customers.
Just listening to them, talking to them, figuring out a little bit about their background. A larger bank is not going to ask you those questions to figure out the end goal for you.
We stuck with Franklin Bank and Trust for over 10 years, easily because of the service.
I like to think of us more than just checking accounts and loans and things, but dreams and goals and aspirations is what we're trying to help people reach.
Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown banking at its best.
Well, Doc, I thought he crossed the line.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the stands thought you were the one that crossed the line with that call.
I guess I get that all the time, Doc.
Well, I'm glad you finally came in here to get your eyes checked at Wilkins Eye Care.
And like I said, I hear that all the time.
Go Cats!
Wilkins Eye Care, 705 North Main Street, Franklin, Kentucky.
For more than 50 years, McCutcheon Electric has serviced Franklin and the surrounding communities. Wildcat senior Colin Anderson is the grandson of founder Charlie McCutcheon. Just like Colin provides power during the game, you can rely on McCutcheon Electric to light up your life. For all your commercial or residential electrical needs, contact McCutcheon Electric.
And joining us now, a young player that had a career game in this ball game, Aiden Jones. 13 carries. I'll read you off the numbers. I'm sure you'll be happy with that. 13 carries, 109 yards for you tonight. Get the 1-yard touchdown. I'm not going to say that, Lane got it to within about 6 inches for you down there. But to come out there tonight in a spot where, without Blake, we're looking for more guys to run the football, and obviously, you've had some good run this year. You've had experience of having to fill in a lot, but it's really the first time we've seen a situation like this where basically every other play it is you or Lane running that rock for Franklin Simpson. How were you able to run after run, seemingly bounce off tackles and just drag defenders all over the field?
Well, I look up to Lane Alford a bunch. He's the senior of the group. He's the senior of the fullback group. I basically try to follow in his footsteps. Whatever he does, I basically try to mimic in practice. So if I see him try to bounce off a tackle, I'm going to do the same exact thing. If I see him run downfield, I'm going to try to do the same exact thing because he's gone next year. I'm going to have to fill in his shoes.
Well, and you've gotten, from my perspective, I'll say this is selfish, you've gotten a little too good at doing things the exact same way as he does, to the point to where I really appreciate the blue sleeve that you had on, because that's the number one way that I can then figure out which one of you two has the ball, or if you could wear a number that didn't also start with 3. But clearly you've been able to implement a lot of the same stuff that he does, which is fascinating for me watching you grow, because I was able to see your older brother play, and it's 2 completely different styles of players. How much fun has it been for you to now step in and have this big role, knowing how much your brother meant to this program, and now be, albeit in a much different role, but still filling a similar spot and being so valuable to this team?
It's big shoes to fill. I really look up to him. He's been my biggest role model. We've worked so hard for this. But like I always say, that the younger brother always has to be a little bit better. But whenever we do all this, it's just for the guys that's built their legacy here. It's for the guys that's done everything that they've done here, and it's just to build onto that. And by the time I leave here, I hope there's a new, younger version of me.
I'll go out and venture that this is the first time that you've played in near hurricane conditions. How would you rate the experience out there with the wind and the rain tonight?
Oh, I love it. I know everyone else is uncomfortable, but I embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Going both ways, you guys defensively, an excellent game. If you go through all the numbers, ultimately hold them to 38 yards on the ground with 30 carries. You're in the backfield constantly. A team, and I know the weather is a factor in this, but a team that was known for throwing it all over the field. They only complete 1 pass in this ball game. How happy were you with the defensive effort from you guys out there tonight? But congratulations on the game tonight and great win out there.
Thank you.
We'll let you hand it over to Coach Chaney, he's very bundled up, very prepared for. Hand it over to Coach Chaney, he's very bundled up, very prepared for the elements tonight with the fancy jacket. I think we're going to have to order 2 of those for us to have up here in the press box. Here's your mint. Don't worry.
I already had one.
Okay. I know Tyler takes care of you with the mints.
Yeah, he does a good job.
This is a game that, first thing I'll ask you, because I figure I know the answer to this, but I don't want to assume, because you know what they say about doing that. I've got to figure that this is the type of game, being the offensive line guy that you are, that you love just to see from a football perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I do love it if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Which did happen a couple of times.
The entire first half, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to embrace it. I mean, you can't run from it. Everybody's in the elements. That's what we talked about. And I don't think anybody was, maybe the receivers were upset because we weren't going to throw the ball much. But I think everybody was pretty much into it. I didn't see anybody shying away from weather or anything like that. So, I mean, you love it. But, when you have multiple penalties and shoot yourself in the foot, things don't go very well like they did in the first half.
Yeah, I know there's a lot for you guys, especially with the importance of the Glasgow game coming up. And we've talked about that. It was the mantra. 2 of those big things, execution, tackling, and then the blocking. Those all get more difficult when you're in the elements, but the execution, the one of those that you can still control. And there were a lot of flags out there tonight. Tyler Arterburn had a little bit to say about those at times, but
some of them were a little, yeah. I'm sure Tyler was probably right on whatever his call was on that. It was a little bit over the top. Somebody wanted to be seen, but that's you got to deal with it.
Yep.
I mean, it's I don't have a lot to say about that. I was very upset about all the penalties, and some of them we called, some of them we did.
Yeah.
We just did some stupid stuff. So yeah, I wasn't exactly excited about.
We'll talk about the good stuff that won't get anybody in trouble. How about that?
We may have ran belly 50 times.
You said we were going to simplify the offense, and tonight almost have to.
Pretty simple, wasn't it? And they, to their credit, they just started blitzing backers, which is fine. We had an answer for that too. But I mean, look at when they tried to pass the ball, the snaps over the head.
The one time when we were going, especially right to left where that wind is blowing, and we tried to let Brady throw one, just hit a wall of wind.
Yeah, I evidently wasn't paying attention.
To which way the wind was blowing?
No, to what we just called. No, I mean, and I understand, you got guys blocking their tail off. We're going to try to give them a touch or whatever, and really wanted to find a way to get calling the ball, and he was wide open. But the wind's coming at you, and we hadn't had very good success in pregame throwing the ball. So, but anyway, I understand what we were trying to do. But, yeah, I mean, we got back to running the ball and right at them. The stuff on the edge was hard. We were slipping and sliding a little bit. So, but yeah, I was proud to finish the game and proud to get a W, and it's 2 in a row now, so hopefully we can build on that going into Glasgow next week.
I mentioned this with Aiden, but tonight we saw more of really just this back and forth at fullback rather than it being, one true starter and then someone else in the spell, with Lane being a more explosive fullback maybe than what we're used to. He isn't quite what you think of with that prototypical Franklin Simpson fullback. He's got a little bit more to him when he gets out in space. To have somebody like Aiden who can come out tonight with the conditions like they are, run it 13 times, get you 100 yards, and still produce some big plays, does a lot for this offense, especially with no Blake out there.
Right, I'd be happy to get Blake back whenever we can, but, they're doing a good job playing, Lane's playing multiple roles on offense, and then also Zay will come in and give us a little spell a little bit, and then Colin's playing multiple roles on offense, and we want Aiden just to focus on fullback, so he does a good job with that. But yeah, those guys are, it's what it's going to take when you have, and Zay's getting better every week. Had some good runs tonight. A couple got called back because of holding, but Lane does a good job, and also kind of focusing in the huddle, keeping guys. Because when things start going wayward down there, you got to have somebody you can lean on to get the huddle settled down, and Lane does a good job of that.
Defense and spots, I know there's certainly mistakes to look at, but did a good job for the most part of getting into the backfield, making plays. Sometimes got too far into the backfield and let that quarterback get up and make some stuff happen, but good effort from the defense tonight. It really felt like to me the number one thing that stood out, at least up front, the energy really never wavered on defense from those guys.
No, and on offense too. We just kind of, like I said, we shot ourselves in the foot, but we had good energy, I thought. And defense was good energy all night. They did a good job. Coach Prophet did a good job with them. Coach Roby did a good job with them. And, they had a good game plan going in. And they came out in some stuff that they hadn't done, probably because it's pouring down rain and windy, and they love to throw the ball.
Correct.
And figured that was going to be pretty difficult. So but they came out some stuff they hadn't done, and we got that shut down pretty quick, and they got back into what they were doing, which caused them to have some bad snaps and quarterback running for his life back there. So I was proud of the way they executed the defense for sure.
Schedule gets shifted, which I know for you means busy week next week, when this past week was supposed to be the busy homecoming week.
Yeah.
How weird is that to try to manage with your guys? Because I know the schedule has to look different to account for homecoming, but now having that set up and then it gets pushed back, how do you balance off that with trying to keep the guys focused for a really big game?
Try to keep the main thing, but there will be no float sites at night because they've already done all that.
Yep.
And really the only thing at night I think is going to be a powder puff game at, I think maybe Wednesday maybe now. And so, that's all you got to worry about at night. But, the parade, that's all. It's awesome. Nobody does it like Franklin. It's awesome to see if you're in the community, if you're going to school here. It is a wonderful sight to see, and everybody comes out and supports, and that's great. It's a nightmare if you're coaching in it. But, if you're playing and if you're in the community, it is awesome. It is great to see. But, to try to keep 15 to 18-year-olds focused after a parade and a pep rally and all that jazz. So, it'll be a big game for us. Glasgow pretty competitive to us, and so we're going to have to be a lot better than we were tonight, and hopefully it won't be a monsoon, but we're going to have to be a lot sharper than we were tonight.
I'm going to go out on a limb and at least say the weather will be slightly better.
Yeah, I hope so. One would hope.
It's going to be a big game coming up next Friday night, the new homecoming game against Glasgow. Coach, appreciate you taking the time, and we'll see you then.
All right, thanks for having us.
That's Coach Chaney joining us in our post-game show as Franklin Simpson wins tonight 35-0 over Butler County to move to 4-2 overall on the season, 1-1 in district play. We'll take one more break. When we come back, we get you all the final numbers, wrap this thing up, and get set for homecoming coming up next weekend. You're listening to Wildcat Football on 92.3 WFKN.